Welcome to the Inspired Podcast. I'm your host, Andrea De La Sorda, CEO of multiple businesses, business coach, and a woman who spent years building a life that looked perfect on paper, but felt wrong in my soul. This podcast is about helping men and women break free from the boxes we've been placed in by family, faith, culture, and conditioning, and step into the fullest, most financially free version of who we're meant to be. Before we go further, this is a content warning. This episode includes discussion of anxiety, depression, suicidal ideation, and workplace trauma. Please listen with care. I want to tell you about the day I sat in a private corner at my new office at a company that I'd worked so hard to join, making more money than I'd ever made in my life. And I sobbed, not grateful tears, not happy tears, but deep chest heaving sobs that came from somewhere I couldn't even name. Here I had everything I thought I was supposed to want: the title, the salary, the team, and I was finally successful by every external measure. But inside I felt like I was dying. I remember staring at the walls and thinking, how did I even get here? This isn't even my dream. Whose life am I even living? That moment, realizing I climbed the wrong mountain, was the beginning of the most important journey of my life. If you have ever felt successful but empty, if you've ever achieved something that you fought for and then felt nothing, if you've ever wondered why the life you built doesn't feel like it belongs to you, then this episode is for you. Last week, we talked about the hidden cost of being good. Today, we go deeper because there's something no one tells you. You can do everything right and still feel like it's completely wrong. This isn't ingratitude, it's misalignment. And today, we learn how to listen. Let me take you back. In my early 20s, I graduated with honors, landed a job in advertising, and I was a proud, independent woman building something. But there was a voice in my life that had always been loud. It was my mother's. She was a bit disappointed about my major and always insisted that I should be a teacher. And then 9/11 happened. The economy shifted, people were getting laid off, and that voice got louder and louder. And sometimes fear makes other people's opinions sound like the truth. So I left advertising and I went back to school to become a teacher. And I was good at it. I could have probably been great at it, but I knew I wouldn't love it. And that's the first truth I want you to hear today. You can be good at something and still not want it. You can be good at something and it still not be for you. Being capable of living a life doesn't mean you should. Then I got married, had kids, and the box seemed to get smaller and smaller. Good mothers stay home. Messages like good wives keep the house perfect. Good women submit. And they may not have always been said, but these were always just expectations. So I performed and I shrank, tried to be the version of womanhood that would earn approval. But my body just started revolting. Anxiety came back, panic attacks, sleeplessness, that constant knot in my stomach. But I kept pushing through because from the outside, it looked like success at the time. Fast forward years later, I divorced, rebuilt my life, rebuilt my career, launched a business, and finally was making a little bit of money. But along the way, I took a corporate role: better salary, big title, big responsibility. But funny enough, within a week, I felt it. The culture was aggressive, strong, boys club energy. It would just make my skin crawl. But I told myself, Andrea, be strong. Your family needs this stability. You can handle this. Eventually, I took on a new function, essentially a second job without getting additional pay. Of course, I said yes because I was trained to say yes, of course. And that's when I became a target. People think you're bossy. They would say, talk less, smile more, be more likable, crack a joke maybe. In other words, just be less of you, just take up a little less space. And then came rumors, ugly ones, implying that the only way maybe I could hold a role was by inappropriate behavior with people at the top, if you know what I mean. It was workplace trauma layered on top of family trauma, layered on top of financial pressure. And by that spring, my family hit crisis after crisis, and I broke. For months, I didn't even want to be alive. And that's hard to say out loud. But I say it because someone listening needs to know that they're not alone. In fact, my psychiatrist said something that I'll never forget at the time. Said, sometimes trauma forces you to give up everything so you can build the life you love. And now might be that time for you. And that truth landed. Now, I had spent my life living for other people's definitions of success, my mother's, my church's, my partner's, even corporate America's. And it had nearly killed me. So what does misalignment actually look like? It's not subtle. Your body, your emotions, and your patterns are going to tell you. Your body starts rejecting your life, number one. Misalignment often shows up as things like insomnia, anxiety spikes, that feeling of fight or flight, digestive issues, headaches, tension, body pain, exhaustion that sleep just doesn't seem to fix, or even getting sick more often. And this isn't weakness, it's information. It's your body telling you something. And second, you experience hollow wins maybe. Have you ever felt like you hit a milestone? You got that title, make the money, and instead of joy is a numbness or even a dread or emptiness about the situation you're in. And that's a big signal. Or here's another one, that Sunday dread starts to become a symptom. Have you ever felt that? That sinking feeling late on Sunday afternoon? It's not laziness, but sometimes it's your nervous system just saying, you can't keep doing this. I don't want Monday to come. Or also, for that achievement treadmill just doesn't seem to ever end. You're just always on it. You keep moving goalposts because the win doesn't seem to satisfy. And it's not because you're broken, because you're chasing something that isn't perhaps actually yours to chase. Which brings us to the question. This is the question I ask every woman who feels successful but empty. Whose dream are you living? Don't ask what's wrong with me or why can't I just be grateful? Think about whose dream this really is. Is it your parents, your partners, your communities, your industries, maybe your churches, societies? Because once you name it, you can finally separate it from what you actually want. Now, this is important. Not all ambition is misalignment. There's a difference between ambition and obligation. Just sit with that for a second. Ambition feels expansive. Even when it's hard, you feel alive. Obligation feels heavy. Even when you win, you feel relieved, not fulfilled. So here's the test. If no one would ever applaud you, if no one would ever know that you did that thing, would you still want it? If yes, that's ambition. And if no, or you're not sure, perhaps it's obligation. So how do you get back to you? It's not in one leap, it's in a practice. First, just start by creating space for yourself, creating space for your own truth. You can't hear your own voice inside constant noise. Take a walk alone, journal, try and catch the shoulds in your mind and in your voice. And then identify 3 non-negotiables, not preferences, non-negotiables, what you need in your life to feel alive. Here's some examples. Autonomy over your time, purpose-driven work that makes you feel like you want to get up in the morning, financial independence, maybe creative expression, peace in your nervous system, perhaps a partnership that honors you. And then step 3, name the gap. Where's your current life violating these non-negotiables? This is a painful question. And it takes time to work through, but this is clarifying. And step 4, make one aligned choice, not 10, just one. One boundary, one conversation, one no, or one yes, just one step toward yourself. And let that one choice start to create momentum. And then find your people. This journey is hard to do alone, especially if the people around you, for some reason, benefit from you staying in your box. Do you know what I mean? Find a therapist, a coach, a community of people, a friend, someone who can hold space for the real you, not the performing you, the real you. Here's what I need you to hear today. That feeling that something's off, even with everything looks right, it's not a character flaw. This is a signal that success that feels empty, it's not yours to keep chasing, perhaps. It's yours to question because you were not born to live someone else's life. You were born for a purpose in this life. This week, your action step is simple. Do a 30-minute truth audit. This will take some time, but write these sentences and finish them honestly. The part of my life that feels most misaligned is blank. If I'm brutally honest, I'm living blank's dream for myself. If no one judged me, I would do what? The last time I felt truly alive was when, finish the sentence, and one thing I'm doing out of obligation today is what? Then DM me on Instagram at AndreaDLC_coach with one truth you discovered. I read them and I'll be cheering you on along the way. Until next week, remember, you don't owe anyone a version of you that feels like a cage. So start listening. Your soul knows the way home. Until next time, take care.